Hi there. I hope everyone's having a great night. My name is Lauren. I'm from Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. And tonight we are doing an Ask Us Anything. So if you're following us, you might be curious about lots of things MCPHS. I'm here to help you with that. I'm one of the international admissions counselors here. I work with students from all over Latin and Central America, and I also work with any international students that are in the United States right now who might have a visa, maybe they're DACA, H4, or maybe you don't know what their visa status is. I'll be there to help you. So today, the whole idea is that you'll just ask us questions and I will answer them. So if you have any questions about maybe housing, our programs, even tuition, maybe what applications you need to apply, if you can visit us on campus, please let me know. I'm more than happy to see and if I can answer those questions. So just pop them into the chats and the comments and I'll be more than happy to help. And for those of you just tuning in, because I'm seeing some more faces, my name's Lauren. I'm here doing an Ask Us Anything. So anything Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Science related that you're interested in, please let us know. And again, I'm with the international admissions team, but I can really help answer the majority of questions that you guys probably will have. So a couple of things that will be good for you all to know is application deadlines. You're probably asking, like, what are they? We have a regular deadline on February 1st, but we are rolling admissions, so you can keep adding them later. So you don't have to have already submitted and completed your application if you want to come in fall 2026. Like I said, rolling admissions, it means even if you come after the deadlines, we're still going to be reviewing applications. All right, I have a question from Jalen. Hope I'm saying that right. I already submitted my housing deposit. Woo, that's awesome. Congrats. Can't wait to see you join us on campus. For the forms for roommates, when do we fill them out? Or where do we get to pick? When do we get to pick where we stay? So, good question. If you've already completed your housing deposit, you're going to get an email eventually to set up a account in the Residence Life portal. In that portal, you're going to complete your contract, which basically says that, you plan to live on campus, and then you're going to do your survey. And your survey is going to tell us a little bit more about you, and it's going to tell us a little bit more about the other people who want to live on campus, so we can try to place you with the best fit person. Now, if you already know there's somebody you want to live with and they want to live with you, you can both put your names on your own applications and then we can place you all together. So you won't actually get your assignment for your room or your roommate name until July. So you're going to have to wait a long time. Remember, the time to deposit, the deadline is May 1st. So that's kind of why we wait to get everybody's deposits, and then we do them as much as possible all at once over the summer. So I hope that answers your question. Right now, you just have to do your forms and get into the portal. If you just deposited like this week, it might take a little while for that portal information to get over to you. Keep looking at your MCPHS email, okay? And then in July, you'll actually get your assignment. So I know freshmen are always really excited for that piece, but you'll have to wait a little bit for that. And then we had another question from TJ Janiello. Yes, there is housing for grad students. So we've actually expanded our housing, which is wild in Boston, right? Most people have to downsize or whatnot, but MCPHS is growing. We are always growing. So we actually acquired more housing this year. So grad students, transfer students, yes, you can get housing on campus. I can't say guaranteed because it'll be based on how big our freshman class is and things like that. But we haven't had to tell people no for a little while. So we're really happy about that. Hopefully you can join us on campus too. All right, so now I have another question. I'm an international student and I've been taking prereqs at a community college in Washington State, and I'm graduating this summer. Awesome. I wonder if I've met you before, because I definitely go there frequently, and I'll be there in January. So if you want to know more about my travels, DM me right now and I can send you the dates that will be in Washington State and maybe we can connect. But yes, you can absolutely do your prereqs at a community college out of state and then transfer them in. You could even come to our programs in fall 2026 and do that. So maybe you're interested in nursing, or maybe you're interested in pharmacy or something. Basically, you should reach out to me. My email is lauren.scott@mcphs.edu, and I can kind of help you filter through which application you need, which program is a good fit. and then what documents we're going to need from you. But super exciting. I love, love, love working with transfer students, especially the ones up in Northwestern Washington. So definitely DM us so I can help you out more. And then we have another question about affordability. So if I'm unable to afford MCPHS, how do payment plans work and when you are enrolled? Great question again. So with the payment plans, basically what's going to happen is you are going to get your bill. So for instance, if you join fall 2026, your bill will come out in June, just about in June. And then you have until August 1st to either make your payment or you have to set up a payment plan by that time. So if you set up your payment plan by August 1st, then you'll have 4 months to pay your bill for that semester. If you set it up in July, you have 5 months. So say you owe 10 grand for your first semester. If you set up your payment plan by July, you're paying $2,000 a month. So that's kind of what that looks like. They're not year-long payment plans. You only do it per semester, and you have to complete one semester before moving on to the next one. Question about housing. So what does that look like? A lot of different things. We have a few different options. Like I said, we're growing all the time, which is really exciting, especially in Boston. So if you wanted like a traditional dorm style where you walk down the hall and you go use the shared bathrooms and you have a full meal plan, you don't do any cooking, great, we've got that. If you want an apartment style where you have like a little kitchenette and you have a little living room and you have your own bathroom and you have like an apartment with 3 other students, then we can do that. If you'd rather a suite, which means you basically have a couple roommates, you have a shared bathroom, and then no kitchen, you get a meal plan, we can do that. So that's basically what it looks like. We do not have off-campus housing. So if you wanted off-campus, then you just, find off-campus housing on your own. But we do have a portal that can assist you in doing that. For housing, another question, basically what I just answered, and then what do you offer for housing? I'm not sure if that offer means like scholarships. Initially, when we read applications, if you get admitted, you'll receive hopefully a merit scholarship depending on the program. Every program's different. And if you get your merit scholarship, great, that goes towards tuition. If you find that maybe you're a little price sensitive, you need a little bit more help to make MCPHS work, reach out to your counselor. If you log into your admissions portal, a picture and their contact information will be there. So they can actually help you go over other opportunities that MCPHS has for you in terms of funding. So maybe it's slightly raising your merit scholarship. Maybe it's helping you with a housing award for your first year, because we can sometimes do that depending on which program. And then, all right, for the student who is reaching out, mentioning that their guidance counselor sent their English proficiency test, can we please add it to their checklist? Yes, please DM us though, or better yet, email your counselor in your admissions portal to let them know so that they can check that for you. Because right now, I definitely don't have your accurate name, so I won't be able to go and do that after this. But if you email admissions@mcphs.edu or DM us, then we could make that work. Okay, so second question from another person, love that. I was looking at radiation therapy major and wanted to know when is the deadline or if it is rolling admissions. It is rolling admissions, so you're good to go. One thing I will say is that any of our imaging programs, typically, they can eventually fill up for the fall semester. So I always tell students for the imaging programs, if you can apply now, just go ahead and apply now. If you're working on your prereqs, at least start talking to us so we can kind of guide you into when you should submit. Because if you are a transfer student and you're looking at coming in for one of those programs, then we can guide you in which prereqs to take and how long it will take you. And we might even be able to find a better fit program. Okay, so I know I just skipped a question. Someone was asking if we can take online classes. The answer to that is going to be dependent on the program and if you are a US citizen or depending on your visa status. If you have an F1 visa, then unfortunately you can't. For other programs, it is possible to take some classes online. Usually during the summer, I know a lot of students will do that. When you get further down into your program, it can be a little bit challenging to do that. Or if you have rotations, then you would have to do those in person. Another person wants to know what student life is like. So student life on our campus is really great. I think a lot of people don't quite understand the MCPHS campus until they arrive. And that being said, this is a great time to mention we have a lot of opportunities for you to come to campus. So if any of the students on this call are admitted students, we have days just for you all where you can go into your admissions portal and register to visit us. Next Saturday is one, not this one, but the next one. And then we have another one on February 21st as well. And those are just for admitted students to come to campus to get to know us, and you'll get to know current students, faculty, and they will also be talking about clubs and organizations. We have over 100 clubs and organizations on our campus. So if you wanted something that's like to your cultural roots, you can join something like that. If you wanted something that's just fun or, for your arts, for your other side outside of the education academic realm, then we have like photography and things like that. You could also join like fraternal organizations to help you toward your career goals. So like a lot of pharmacy students will join some of our chapters on campus that are actually related to the field of pharmacy. But the cool thing also is that we're part of Colleges of the Fenway. So if your student life, you want to kind of like expand it more, then you can join the student activities on those college campuses as well. So definitely DM us about that if you have more questions. There's a lot of opportunities, but our actual on-campus life is really cool. Like Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's about an hour and a half each day where we don't have any classes on campus. And it's so all the students can get together in the atrium and, talk, get together with their clubs. During those times, a club will often put on like a lunch, and you can go and try like Vietnamese food for the first time. Or I know last time I was on campus for an event like that, it was like food from Nepal, which was really cool. I had never tried it before. So there's a lot of exposure opportunities through student life as well. But also it is a healthcare school. We have very diligent students. So you're going to find a lot of those students who are also engaged in activities that do propel their resume too. So can temporary immigrants be eligible to apply for the pharmacy program? I want to say yes. The word temporary is throwing me off. I don't know if maybe you're talking about TPS, like temporary protective status, in which case, yes, you absolutely can. We will admit a student regardless of what their status is. It's really up to you to determine whether or not you want to take the program, depending on what your visa is or whatnot. But yes, everyone, like every kind of status is open to attending and getting admitted, and you're still eligible for scholarships also. So financial aid, we have someone who has supposedly gotten their financial package, but it doesn't show up on their portal even after checking the link. So what I would recommend, if you did FAFSA and you haven't seen your package and you expect that it's ready, reach out to your counselor. So when you log into your admissions portal, you're going to see a face and contact information. Reach out to that person because they're the one who can actually go into your account and go into our MCPHS accounts and see if we've received anything from FAFSA for you. Is the school test required or no? So we don't require SAT or ACT, so that's great. For certain programs, we might require a test. Like if you're transferring into nursing, then we might want the TEAS exam. But if you're a freshman, you don't have to worry about any testing. The one exception is if you went to high school outside of America, or if you took English as second language courses, then we might ask you for an English proficiency test score just to make sure that when you get here, you won't fall behind on your studies because of English. So I hope that's helpful, but overall, normally when people ask that question, they mean SAT or ACT, and we don't need that. Okay, so I had a question about sonography programs and what requirements are needed for them. So for the sonography programs we're going to need, if you do not have another degree already, then we would need your high school transcripts and all of your college transcripts. So no matter where in the world you took them, we would need to see all of your college grades. It's very helpful to get a letter of recommendation. If you're transferring in, we might ask for a resume too. But basically just go in, fill out our application. If you're not sure which one you should fill out, then just DM us and we can help you figure out if you're a first-time freshman or a transfer and things like that. And then basically just be prepared to bring in your email us your transcript directly from the schools that you took the courses from. Another student is asking if housing is guaranteed for all 4 years. It is not guaranteed for all 4 years, but it is guaranteed for 2 for freshmen. So if you are a freshman joining us, then you can definitely come in and have housing. for your freshman year and your sophomore year. For transferring grads, then it's kind of like by demand and like what we have available. So like I said, we haven't had to turn people away for a while now because we've been expanding our housing and our campus. But it's guaranteed for 2 years for freshmen. Okay, so what's the earliest time and latest time that classes run on campus? This will also change kind of depending on where you are in your program. Like, for instance, you're going to have a ton of course times available to take Bio 1, for instance. Usually students, the earliest classes are starting is 8 a.m., but a lot of them are like 8:30 and a little later. And then for undergrad students, I'm seeing that a lot of them end by like 6:30 or so. Grad students, some of those classes can be a little bit later, but it changes, depending on the program and if you do rotations and things like that. So it's not a one-size-fits-all answer. Okay, so another person asked if they're from Ghana and if it's compulsory to take the English proficiency test. Good question. No, you are a native speaker. As long as you are a native speaker and you attended a school that was instructed in English, then you should be all set. If you, for instance, are from Ghana, but you grew up speaking another language, or you went to a school that was instructed in Portuguese or something, then that's where it could get dicey. But if you're a native English speaker and you grew up in an English-speaking country with English instruction for your high school, you are all set. But just let your counselor know, because if you apply, it'll automatically say that you're required to take the test until we see your documents, and then we can fix that for you. Another student asked if you can stay in the same dorm if your program runs in the summer. So I can't give you a complete 100% answer, but I believe the answer is probably not, because what happens is during the summer it downsizes and a lot of people go home. And so we try to then house all the students that are staying for the summer in less buildings if we can. So you might be able to, but I'm not entirely sure. Definitely reach out to your counselor if that's like a big deal for you, and we can get you that answer. So if somebody did regular decision, then how do you know if you got in? So typically for freshmen who are doing regular decision, it's going to take 2 weeks for you to get a decision after you have submitted and completed your application. So that means you went into your application, you put all your education and demographic information in, and then you sent us all of the documents that you need. And then after that, it will take about 2 weeks for you to be read. Okay. At that point, you'll get your decision. So say you apply today and you send all of your documents today and everything, then within 2 weeks, you should get an answer, barring holidays, right? So typically at the point where your application has been completed, you'll know usually about 2 weeks after. If it's a grad level program and faculty need to review it, or a PhD program, then that answer changes entirely. Or if you're applying through like a professional application system, like say you're applying for the PharmCast for the accelerated PharmD program, or if you're applying for another professional program like optometry or the PA program, the master's version of it, things like that can take longer. Okay, so someone wants to know how difficult it can be to get into sonography and how many people are typically accepted. I can't remember the number of seats per intake, but it's not our most competitive program, but it can be pretty competitive because of space. So the best thing to do if you are interested in imaging is to get your applications completed earlier. And then if you are admitted, make sure you meet with your counselor and that you understand what the program's like and you understand whether or not you can afford it, and then make your deposit, because that deposit will hold your seat no matter what. I really would recommend for imaging programs, if there's a seat available, to hold your seat. But you do need to be strong in sciences and like physics. You're going to have a lot of physics and sonography. So that's going to be kind of the academic competitiveness there. Is there an online learning option for the PharmD? Yes, if you're looking for the accelerated PharmD. So if you are like a freshman coming in or something like that, then the answer is no, you'd have to be on campus. If you want to do the accelerated program on our Worcester or Manchester campuses, then yes, we do have an online hybrid portion for you. So it's online, but there are 3 or 4 times where you have to come to the Worcester or Manchester campus to do some like orientation and training pieces. But other than that, it would be online. But again, that's for the accelerated program, and you can only get into accelerated if you either have a degree or you've completed a lot of prereqs for it. So definitely DM us about that if that's the route you want to go. Okay. Is OT something you need to go post-grad, and do we offer it? So OT is a graduate level program. So you can come to us and do health sciences and then go into occupational therapy. It doesn't have to be health sciences, but that's like a pathway that'll make it a little shorter for you. Otherwise, you can do many different programs, really, as long as you reach the prereqs for the OT program, and then you would join the graduate level program. But we do have an actual pathway for it that would make it a bit faster and simplifies the process for you too. Someone's asking if they can still send in your FAFSA. You sure can. Definitely do that. Can non-traditional students live on campus or get funding for living in Boston? Yes, non-traditional students can live on campus. We have grad programs. I'm assuming you're probably going into a grad program, and grad housing available. So those are kind of our more like non-traditional. For our Boston campus, we do not have spouses allowed to be living on campus or children, but if you do a Worcester program, then they actually do have housing where your spouse can live with you. But right now we don't have housing for children. So when is move-in day for the fall semester for freshmen? That is a good question. I can't tell you the exact date, but what I can tell you, it will be the last week of August. So we always start on the day after Labor Day in September. So that first weekend in September is a 3-day weekend. And then you'll start school on Tuesday. So the like Thursday or Friday before that is typically move-in day, maybe Wednesday, depending on if you're international or if you're a domestic student. So is the psychology program good? It's actually great. So the psychology program, it's a health psych program. You can start training in laboratory skills and things like that if you want to do a research component. It really ties in the biological sciences and the brain sciences. We're one and the same really, but there are behavioral sciences versus, like biology and chemistry and things like that. That is really, really integral, especially if you want to go into like a PhD or a master's program and maybe do like research in psychology, or if you want to become a psychiatrist. Also, it can also set you up for like, psychology in general as well. But yes, the psychology program is very strong. Feel free to reach out to us about it, to have like a meeting set up so we can talk to you more about the benefits of it. I know a lot of students who have done that program and they've done research on campus, which is great, even if they're international. And then also I know a lot of people who did that program and then switched into doctoral programs so that they could have the more like behavioral science component at their undergrad level and then go into their doctoral programs. Someone is asking if you need a roommate for the dorms. So you will get a roommate at MCPHS unless you have a medical condition that can be supported and corroborated by your doctor, in which case you can then get a single room at that point. But typically, yeah, you will have a roommate. I do know students who have been placed and they just kind of got lucky and there wasn't a roommate, or unlucky, depending on if you wanted the roommate. Another question is about tuition and housing costs. Definitely reach out to us about this because this is hard to answer without knowing what program you're thinking about. So for instance, our accelerated programs can be around $61,000 a year before scholarship. Okay, and then we do give scholarship for them. And then for our 4-year traditional undergrad programs, those ones cost less per year. They're around $41,000, again, before scholarship. So at the point where you're admitted, you'll get a scholarship most likely, depending on your program. The master's programs typically don't have scholarships. Some of them do. And then you can work with your counselor to see if there are any other opportunities for you. Let's see. Another one is asking how much tuition is for 4 years for bio. I'm not going to embarrass myself by doing that fast math on here, but you can definitely reach out to us and we can give you a roundabout idea. The one thing I will note is that, like many universities, We reevaluate the tuition cost every spring, and the board will announce new or updated costs. So the amount that you can see on our website right now for fall 2025 is going to be different for fall 2026, which will be different for fall 2027. They're not major increases, but it's just something to be aware of when you're thinking about mapping out your expenses for 4 years. Students want to know if they can transfer into accelerated programs like nursing this spring. This spring, no, they already started, so it's a little too late to do that, but you can transfer into our accelerated nursing programs. So definitely reach out and we can go over what prereqs you have and see what's a good fit for you. Let's see. I think I have more than I missed. We covered housing, dorms, prereqs. Awesome. I think I have answered them all. You guys had some really great questions. Again, my name is Lauren. We're just about at time to wrap up this Ask Us Anything. Thank you so much for joining in. Like I said, if you have questions, let us know. Just DM us. In our link in our bio, you can get a lot of great information there. And for those of you who are admitted, don't forget to join us on our admitted student days. We have one next Saturday, I think it's the 24th, and then we have one on February 21st, and more in March, more in April. And if you're not admitted, but you just want to come swing by, get to know us, get to know your program in school, please do. We have tours Monday through Friday on campus. We have really great experiences for people whenever they come and join us. So definitely come say hi, and then reach out online if you have any other questions. Does this university have a radiology technician program? We do have a radiology program, the bachelor's program. So yes. That said, thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day and take care. I hope you join us. Bye.